Hey guys, this is Dennis, the founder of Think Hero.
And I'm David Griffin, your resident comic book and video game guru.
And this is our review of Kick-Ass 2, directed by Jeff Wadlow, not Matthew Vaughn this time.
Produced by
Produced,
Matthew Vaughn,
but directed. Yeah, I had heard a lot of like bad things about this movie, but I actually liked it. I thought it's not as good as the first one, but I thought it was a worthy sequel to the Kick-Ass movie, and I felt like it kind of had the same tone and feel to it, and I don't think the action was as good, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah, it was. I think that's what this series is. It's entertaining. I think the comic book series is the same way. It's entertaining. It's never been, I don't know, much more for that for me, but it was good. I thought this was solid. I think it was just trying to be more of a personal story. I think there's a little bit more action in the comic book. I mean, it's good. It's just I felt sometimes some of the emotional stuff didn't hit. Like you could tell they were trying to be dramatic in some of these areas, like when they're having a conversation, like it's about being a hero. I was like, oh, okay, like let's just get. But I mean, it was still good. I like the cast. Chloe's awesome. Her portrayal as Hit Girl, and I really did like the cast. So it was a good job. I think the standout guy was probably Daniel Faison. He was great.
Well, there was a lot of standouts for me. I mean, I love Jim Carrey as Colonel Stars and Stripes. I thought his character was hilarious.
Which is funny because he was like talking against the movie, and I'm like, that was like one of your better performances in a while. You actually did a good job in that role.
Exactly, and Mother Russia.
Yeah, she was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Hit Girl's always awesome. It is a little weird seeing Chloe Moretz just because she's like so much older and taller now. Yeah. In the first Kick-Ass, it was she was she's tiny and she was like kicking ass, and so it was interesting. This time, like, I mean, still cool seeing her kick ass, but it's not.
She's not
the same. No.
She's growing up.
Yeah. So, and also they kind of like almost had like this side story of her like trying to give up being a superhero or a crime fighter. But then this whole kind of like Mean Girls thing came into it.
Right, yeah.
Which I actually liked it. I thought it was cool. I mean, they kind of resolved it a little too quickly, but I think that was just because, they didn't want to linger with it too much. But they kind of resolved that whole storyline a little bit fast.
And I think they did a good job. I actually enjoyed Kick-Ass 2 the movie more than I did Kick-Ass 2 the comic book that Mark Millar wrote. Sometimes I think he does some extremely violent things. There's some violence in the comic book towards women. There's a scene you can probably, if you see the movie, you can tell like they kind of went around it and didn't go all the way, which in the comic book they do. And I think sometimes it's just there for shock value. And I like that they kind of had more jokes in this one and tried to kind of stay away from the shock. I thought this movie was going to be more violent. When Jim Carrey was talking about it, it was violent, but it wasn't as violent as I thought it was going to be. And I thought that they did a better job in the movie kind of balancing the violence and the seriousness. They did a better job. I think this is better than the comic book. Kind of like the first one, I thought did a great job too.
Okay. Yeah. And, I thought McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I thought he was great too, as the motherfucker.
Yeah. Like how John Leguizamo was like, I'm not calling you that. That kind of stuff. It was good, yeah.
Yeah, so, and Faison was good. I liked him and Kick-Ass's chemistry, just teaming up. I love the whole Justice Forever thing, know?
Yep.
How they're all joining together and like some of those guys are like just like almost like it's like a neighborhood watch, like they're not really crime fighters at all. And then just having Clark Duke as part of the team, I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a nice balance. I mean, you had some people like you had like a mom and dad who lost their kid. Yeah, you had like a nice balance of just these people. I mean, it is trying to be more realistic. Like, what would superhero life be like? Even though this movie's crazy, but still, like, what superhero would be like if there were real people being superheroes? And they kept kind of enforcing, that point throughout the movie. But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it's always entertaining. It's great cast, great characters. I guess I'm just never like, I'm not blown away by the movie, but I think it's good. I think it deserves, it's like in the 20s on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
It's
I think it deserves
really
better reviews than that. It deserves better reviews than
But then the people that I've talked to in my circle most people have said the same thing where they liked it, but it wasn't as good as the first one, which is kind of where I'm falling at,
Right.
I remember I was watching it, I was laughing and having a good time,
But I kind of left the theater and I was like, okay, I'm glad I saw that it was good. I'd probably see it again, but it wasn't anything like I had to like go tell somebody. I just saw Kick-Ass 2 and it was so good. Yeah.
No.
Like that.
Like where Kick-Ass 1, I was like, no, you got to see this. You got to see this. But like, Kick-Ass 2, it's like, oh, if you like the first one, I think you'll like the second one.
Yeah.
I think, people are being a bit harsh on it.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not sure why. I don't really know why.
Maybe people are just against the violence, or I don't know. Maybe it's the Jim Carrey controversy type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think, and maybe this might be going on a deeper subject. I won't go too far off subject here, but it's like, I think this movie, maybe I think now with all the violence on TV, you see in Game of Thrones, you see it in Walking Dead, I think there has to be like an emotional weight attached to it, and I think Kick-Ass is kind of lighthearted. I mean, they try to go for some emotional places, but it's still lighthearted. Maybe critics are being turned off by like, hey, this is just violence for the sake of violence, which I've had issues with in the comic book, but that's just kind of how it is. It's just kind of fun. It's not trying to say something about society, I don't think. It's not trying to be that deep.
Well, I mean, there are like, I think, a little darker parts in this one compared to the first one. Yeah. You know, mixed with the humor as well. Yeah. But I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's just entertaining.
The movie's a bit long, I felt, but then I kind of felt that about the first movie anyways. So that's like one of the negative parts of it. And you know, there is, I think, maybe a not pacing issue, but just like, because they kind of jump between kind of the Hit Girl storyline and the Kick-Ass storyline, so it's a little less focused, you know. Yeah. But I don't know, but I still liked it.
It was good, yeah. I just want to tell everybody out there, Kick-Ass 3, Mark Millar's new comic book is out now. I think like the first issue's out, so definitely go check that out to see where the story is going. The movie, I won't spoil anything. It does end a little bit differently than in Kick-Ass 2, the book. The ending's a little different, but it's still good, still solid. Got to stick around for the credits.
Yeah, there's
after the credits.
There's
like,
after the credits scene. It's short, but
yeah. It's always worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, what would you give Kick-Ass 2?
I'd give it a B-.
Okay.
I don't mean that in a bad. I think it was good. It's just nothing really stood out. I think that brought it over the top for me, but it was still good, still worth seeing. I'll see it again, but yeah, I'd definitely give it a B-.
Okay, I'm gonna give it kind of like a B, almost B plusish. Okay. I think I enjoyed it more than you did. Yeah. I just was expecting garbage, and I came away having a good time, and it felt kind of like a continuation of the first one. So I'd say no, you don't have to rush out and see it, but if you did like the first one, I think I think it's worth seeing. And then if you don't see it in the theaters, definitely watch it on like Blu-ray or DVD.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
All right, guys, so that's what we thought. You can post your comments below on the website, thinkhero.com.
Or you can check us out on YouTube at our YouTube page, it's Think Hero Pro.
And make sure you subscribe to that channel. And also, we're on Twitter. Mine's at ThinkHero.
I'm at GriffinDE.
And we also have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/ThinkHeroFans.